Hello, everybody. My name's Rick McCutcheon. I'm a Dynamics 365 MVP, and I'm here with one of the top bloggers in our D365 space. Anya, introduce yourself.
Thank you. My name is Anya Ciecierski, a little difficult, 2 chairs and a ski. And I actually own the ERP software blog and the CRM software blog, as well as working in marketing in the channel. So I've actually been working in the Dynamics channel since 1999, and we started these 2 group blogs in 2009, so a little over a decade ago.
So over 10 years of blogging. That's fantastic. So let's talk today a little bit about blogging and why it's important for partners to be blogging.
Sure. So I started these blogs back in 2009 because I was looking for a way for the VAR that I worked for to get more exposure, to have more people read the content, to know that we were experts in our industry, and to hopefully then become leads and buy from us. And I found that as a single partner, you can only do so much, but if you use the power of the group, I'm really big on that concept of using the power of the group. And by having a lot of partners all contribute content and contribute links, that became a very powerful blog. So I think blogging is a way for VARs and ISVs to really have more eyeballs on their content, more traffic back to their website, more prospects, more leads, which is of course what everybody wants. And I do think that there's value in having content not just on your own website, because there's a certain level of credibility, a difference in prospects' minds when they see your name in different places. And they keep seeing your name over and over again on different social media platforms and blog sites. And they really start to think, hey, you know what, if I want to do, Dynamics 365 for the insurance industry, this is the people that I should talk to, or whatever your specialty may be.
And, we talked about this earlier that, this gives somebody a place to go to really, show their credibility and to influence the audience that they want to influence. So I love the example you used there about the insurance business. But, another thing about blogging that I found is that it grows. So you put a blog out there, it sort of stays and grows, collects SEO. Or if I do just a post in one of the social medias and platforms, it only sticks around for 48 hours or so and then sort of disappears. So that SEO from a blog is very, very powerful.
It is. I like to say it's like having compound interest. You spend some time to put a good post out there, and it can really be working for you for years. I'm amazed still at the traffic that I see on very, very old posts that still are getting a lot of activity with people clicking on them and then going back to the partner's website. So it's very
So
good.
if I'm a partner today and I don't do any blogging, how do I get started?
So most people, when they talk to me about blogging, they say, well, I don't have the time, or I don't have anything to write about. And I always tell them, you absolutely have plenty to talk about. It's just all trapped up here in the minds of your subject matter experts. I know for me personally, at the company I work for, I would never get a billable consultant to write a blog post for me. Yet they're the ones that have all that information. So the system that works really well for me, and I always recommend it out to other VARs and ISVs, is a method that I call record, transcribe, and edit. So I will actually make an appointment with one of those subject matter experts in my company, maybe the owner, maybe the billable consultant, and I'll say, tell me why Dynamics 365 is better than Salesforce. Tell me 5 trends in this specific industry that you're seeing this year. Tell me 5 questions that prospects always ask you in every sales call. They can rattle off the answers so easily when they're just speaking. So I record them speaking, and then I use a service to transcribe it. And a few hours later, I get a Word document back that's very easy for me, who doesn't know all the ins and outs, to craft into a good, deep, meaty blog post. Or you can also hire an inexpensive writer to polish and edit that post up for you, because again, they don't have to have the industry experience. the lingo, the thoughts, they're already there. They just need to know how to polish it up to make it sound good. So I use a service called rev.com, rev.com, which is a little bit more expensive than some of the others out there, but I think they do a fantastic job. And it just makes it so much less painful to try to get blog posts from people. And I have a marketing blog that I started just because people kept asking me questions like this all the time. And on there, I give some tips on, kind of how to interview people so they don't feel so nervous, how to pull information, how to even come up with ideas and questions to ask them. And it makes it very easy to really generate just a bunch of good content.
So I'll put the URL to that website in the show notes. Maybe we can talk a little bit about how long a blog should be and how often should I blog?
Google changes their mind a lot and it's hard to keep up, but I would say 250 words should really be a minimum on a blog post, on a web page, things like that. And then you can really go as long as you want, as long as you feel like you're going to keep the reader interested. So you can post a very long blog article, or you can chop it up into part 1, part 2, part 3. But trying to keep it minimum 250, ideally at least around 500 is nice as well. I think the bigger thing to focus on too is really to have a really engaging headline and title, so that when somebody sees that title online, maybe in a social media post or whatever, they're going to think, I want to click on that. I want to know what that says. So they should immediately know, what is it about? Who is it written for? What am I going to learn? Plus put some keywords in there. So the headline is really the most important part of your post.
So let's talk a little bit about your 2 blog sites. One's for ERP and one is for CRM. What type of writing do you have on your site?
So we have about 150 Microsoft Dynamics partners that participate in these group sites. So they pay a monthly membership fee, and then they can post as much content as they like on our sites. Plus they get listed in all kinds of directories and special projects and exposure and things like that. So we have both VARs and ISVs. The ERP software blog, of course, is for all the Dynamics ERP lines, and then the CRM software blog is just specifically for Dynamics 365 on the CRM sales side. So the content that we see that does the best in terms of traffic is anything that's competitive, Dynamics 365 versus Salesforce, for example. Anything that has to do with pricing. So how much does an implementation, Dynamics 365 implementation cost? How much should I budget for this and that? So those are 2 very good things. Also doing kind of niche things about a specific industry can be very, very good. The traffic might be less, but more specialized. So that is also something to consider. It's not always about the most traffic, but maybe the niche traffic that you're trying to get.
Okay, so most people are just out on the web searching for these sort of comparison articles and things of that nature, and they end up in your blog sites.
Right. So for example, the ERP software blog gets about 60 to 70,000 visitors a month. And so you have a lot more chance of your content being seen. Sometimes I tell people, yes, you could put your content out, publish an article in your local newspaper, but you could also choose to publish it in a national newspaper. So you're going to have more chance of exposure in that national newspaper that just has more visitors.
And so I don't want to get into the whole sort of Google analytics and things of that nature, but what I'm assuming here is because your article or blog is in with a group that's seeing a lot of traffic, that's going to help people find your blog.
Right. So what is that expression that a high tide floats all ships or something
Yes.
like that? So it helps everybody to come up, again, back to that power of the group. So even though all of the companies that are posting on these group blogs, they're technically competitors, right? Because we're all selling the same products, but we're using the strength of everybody to kind of push us all up.
Excellent. Very nice. So, Anya, let's finish this interview today. Let's talk about, we're coming into 2021. So what's going to happen with your business, and what do you think you're going to be showing in the new year?
Yeah, we have had a lot of new members in 2020, which is great. I think a lot of people are shifting their marketing budgets from events and other areas that are stopped and now into online marketing, which is nice. We saw a bit of a need in the market to let prospects have a good way to find add-on products for Microsoft Dynamics. So there used to be the list or other websites, but right now there's a bit of a void. So we already have an ISV directory on our ERP software blog that lists our members that are ISVs, but we're actually going to be expanding that to allow a free listing for any ISV product. And then of course, still give some extra love to our members, but we really want that to be a comprehensive source that prospects can go to if they're looking for an add-on product for Dynamics ERP.
So this will be for all the Dynamics products, the ERP and the what we call the CRM side of the house?
We're going to roll it out on the ERP software blog first, work out all the kinks and make sure that we have everything the right way. And then we're planning to roll it out to the CRM side. We have a lot more members, ISV members on the ERP side, so we'll start with them.
So if I'm an ISV and I want to get listed in this directory, how do I do that?
So the URL would be ERP software blog/ISV. That would be the directory, and there'll be a link on there that they could set up a free profile. Or if you put my email in the text here, they can just email me and I'll get them started on it. So we're hoping that will be ready to go by January 1st.
All right, Anya, it's been great catching up with you, and I'm sure we'll meet again to talk more about blogging, because as far as I'm concerned, getting content, creating content, getting it out there with your name and expertise attached to it is the most powerful thing that you can do in our D365 community. So thank you, and we'll be talking soon.